Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria. Guys, today we're going to dive in. We're going to be doing the Scott Barnes method that he tried on Tarte, and I'm going to be taking it and making my little tweaks here and there to it because there's a couple caveats to this. So let me back up. I mentioned a couple days ago in a full face of newish drugstore makeup, I'll link it up here. I told you guys that I was considering testing this out, that I wanted to see if I could do it, how it would look, and the overwhelming response is that you guys want to see this video. So I said, okay, I'm going to start thinking logistics now, like product wise, what am I going to do? How do I want to do this? Because there were a lot of things that he did in that video that I either could not do because of my skin or my issues, which we'll dive into that here later. And then there's a couple other little logistical things in the video that he mentioned, like at the beginning when he said it's something that typically looks better on film than in real life, or it can look different in real life, and how he kind of has to choose the medium that he has to have it translate for. So my thought process going into this video is really taking his technique and seeing if I can make it look good in real life. Because ultimately, when I'm done in this studio, I have to get up, I have to go do my day, my life. I'm gonna see people. I own a business with my dad. Like y'all know, I got shit going on out there, and I want to make sure that I can still look good and see if I can translate his technique to real life on my skin, make it work for me, and maybe in the process help you guys do the same if this is something you've been considering. So that's what we're going to be diving into today. Now, I do have like one of the products he used. The rest I'm going to be using my own for a couple reasons. One, I didn't want to run out and buy a bunch of products that I've never used before and then be like, oh, it's the technique. Obviously. So that's number one. Number two, I want to try this with what I already have because ultimately all of us at home would be trying it with what we already have. Also, guys, I just looked in the monitor. Paige, why do you do this to yourself? So Tarte does this video with Scott Barnes and like this world-renowned artist, and he looks so good. Like, I'm sorry, that man is stunning. Everything about him is just like every hair's in place. I'm like, you are so put together. And then there's Tarte in that chair, and she's got on this like beautiful like low cropped, or not low crop, but like off the shoulder, you know, black shirt. She looks so sleek and sophisticated. And I just looked in the monitor and I'm like, okay, I look like I'm about ready to go to the old folks home in my old man sweater, and I look like when Eric from Boy Meets World had his hair cut really long so it swooped to the side. Oh, I'm crying. Oh my god, okay, I'm better, I promise. That just really hit me hard. That was too funny. Alright, so I went ahead, I got my hair pushed back, which, oh, okay, I'm doing better, guys. Alright, so the first step that he used, and by the way, I know a lot of people, if they were to do this video, they would like insert the video into it, into like the video that you guys are watching. Number one, I don't know how to do that, and number two, I don't know what the rules are with copyright claims, so I will be linking her video up here as well as down in the description box. Obviously, I have no claims to any of this, and credit goes where it is due, and that is to her video. So I just don't know how to do all the like fancy editing stuff, but I will have her video again linked up and below, and I have watched her video 72 times. So I'm hoping that I can get it figured out from here. Now remember, the first star striking thing that he said was that he did not use primer, and Tate's face was like, I'm sorry, what? And mine, I'm not gonna lie, is kind of in the same boat because I don't think that he's used to working with these lake-sized pores right here, but you know what? It's your boat, honey. We're just rowing in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the same Naked Skin Concealer. I think this is what he said he used. I'm using the shade Fair Neutral. Now this is the first thing that he talked about with his technique, is that he really brought home the fact that he likes to take and do the contour first. So you add light to the face, blend it out, add the depth to the face, blend it out, and then you go in and add foundation only really where you need to blend out or blend those two areas together, the light and the dark. Okay, so I think right here is where we're gonna start on the blending side of things. So he used a lot of brushes, which is great. I'm all for it if you use brushes. Today, my fibro is acting up so bad. I don't think I could handle the feeling of a brush on my face. Plus, I really want to work on pressing the products into my skin. So I'm going to be taking my Juno & Co sponge. This is the closest thing I could get that will maintain the coverage of a brush but give me the press in of a sponge. So again, personal preference, personal technique, and I'm trying to make this wear and last longer throughout the day. So I'm going to take this and blend that concealer in and pray. Did I totally forget the nose? Yep, sure did. So for the nose, he ran it like right here, I want to say, like on both sides. kind of like that. Like he said he brought it really high up, but I'm thinking it was something like this, because then when he blended it in the upward direction. So I'm going to take the other side of my sponge here with nothing on it, and I'm going to blend that concealer. Now, as far as logistically speaking, I like how this looks. For myself personally, I do think I'll probably have to go in here and add some kind of coverage over these in the end, because hello, I do have acne spots, and Tati doesn't really have anything on her skin that's this red or inflamed or whatnot. But again, we're trying this out for us to make it fit our skin needs, and we're not there yet, but I do think that that's going to be something I will probably have to address. All right, guys, so next up we're going to dive into the Chanel bronzer. I just went ahead and swatched it. A little yellow, a little warm for me, maybe. I don't know. We're just going to try it and pray. So I'm going to try and apply this with my BH number 2 brush. I like the size and the style of this, and I don't think it'll irritate my skin if I buff something in this motion. I think it'll work okay. If I do feel like I'm starting to get red or irritated, I will switch back over to the sponge, which I probably will use that to blend it out, but just to apply, I want to have something to dive in here with. So I'm just gonna get in there and get after it like everybody does. Pick up some product on the brush here, and then this is where it's gonna get good. So we're gonna take, yeah, see, oh, okay. And you know, when he did it, it looked like he went in pretty heavy with it, so I guess it's okay that I look a little bit heavy. Oh my god. Oh, Paige, why do you try this? Can't you just accept your Northern Michigan pasty girl face? Huh, no. So for the jawline here, we're gonna get in on them Dorito Cheeto cupcakes. He really went in and made it, ooh, that's nice. That's a good shadow. I'm just gonna take and buff that in. Now, when he did this, oh, I should, my god, listen to me. I'm like, well, when he did it, Paige, you're supposed to be doing it how he did it. Ugh. But he did a really nice job of going in and like laying down the color and then blending it upwards on the jawline to create like a nice natural fade coming up. So I'm going to grab, this is the BH number 6 brush. It's kind of like a tiny little half pinwheel. I'm going to take a little bit of this product to do the nose because I tapped it off. It's a cream. I'm going to take this brush and a little bit of that Chanel bronzer here, because one of the things that he mentioned is that people always do the nose wrong. And I can tell you right now, I am the most haphazard nose contour person on the planet. I literally just run bronzer on both sides and call it a day. So I'm going to do this pretty light looking because, again, I want this to look good in real life as well. I do think that I need a little bit more concealer under my eye, like it didn't quite do it. And I think I want to upgrade a little bit to the Porcelain Beige Shape Tape because I'm feeling like I need a little bit more coverage and like I need it to be a little bit brighter, and that should accomplish both of those goals. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that to my areas that I applied the other concealer. Also, I just found a big difference. When he did the jawline down here, he had like that paint style brush and it was flat on the edge, like blunted, and he took it and did like a very kind of line right there. I didn't do that. Obviously, I went in with my brush and just kind of fluffed it around, so keep that in mind. Okay, yes, next up, it looks like we moved to lips. So what I'm gonna do is take that same little BH brush and I'm going to do the same thing he did where he lined the upper portion of her lips. I don't know if I can do it with this brush, but we're gonna try. And he basically just took it and kind of filled it in like an overline if you were to overline with a pencil, but he didn't do it too much and he made it nice and soft because later on you blend it out. So I'm just gonna go in and kind of trace around. Also, I have crooked lips, so this should be entertaining. Okay, I can't help but feel like I just need a little bit more on the nose because he had more on the nose and I can barely see mine in the monitor. I'm just gonna add just like the tiniest bit. Okay, and another thing, he also went ahead and like did her hands and her chest. Obviously, I am not doing that because like real life says I can't. But if that is something you're into, you want to correct that, obviously go ahead. I'm just focused, like I can barely focus on the face right now, let's be honest. So let's just keep moving with that. Okay, so next up, I'm just gonna take that brush and I'm not adding any product to it, but I'm just gonna go in and blend it around. I have to be honest, like the way that this is blending together, it actually doesn't look bad. I feel like you guys are like a little too close. Hold on. There we go. Okay, I think that that's better because you can actually see like the whole picture. Because if we're gonna try to make this like entire body, face, life wearable, I want you guys to be able to see the entire process as it goes through. Now it is time for foundation, and this is where it's gonna get a little bit fun because he actually used a Chanel foundation, which I also have, and I did a full review of this. I'll link it up here. I think it's the same one. Either way, I can't use this foundation because it's way too deep on me and it would like undo everything that we just did. So I'm going to be taking the L'Oreal True Match in Classic Ivory. I've used this for the last couple of days. I tested it out in that drugstore video that I already linked for you guys, and I think the color of this would actually blend really nicely because I'm looking for a midpoint in shade between what's under my eyes and what I just bronzed with, and I think this would actually be a decent match. So I'm going to take some of this, dump it onto the back of my hand here, and I'm going to start buffing this in. Now, when he does this step, he basically only uses the foundation in places where A, there is no product, and B, as a means to blend together the light and the deep areas of your skin, which makes a lot of sense because you're going to minimize product, which minimizes cakiness. It makes your overall skin look nice and natural and flawless, but it's also going to give you the coverage that you need where you need it. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to take some of this. Again, I'm still using this Juno & Co sponge. He used a brush, and I'm going to, that's a phone, and I just tried to use it as a mirror. Page. I'm just going to take this and I'm first of all going to, I think, stamp it like down here and start applying it to places that I need some coverage. So I'm just going to run it on the jawline first because, hello, obviously we need some there. And then we're also going to need a little bit up here to marry the light and the deep shades. So I'm going to stamp some up here. I'm just being mindful not to try and like stamp it all over the place. I did veil a little bit in this area because I wanted to cover up those acne dots a little bit more, this area as well as on the other side. And what I think I'll do is I'll just go back in with the bronzer brush and bronze that area a little bit more just to help blend everything together, which he did as well. So again, I think this is just going to be all about making it work for your skin and your day and how you like to do things. That was actually really fast. So now I'm just going to go back in with a little bit of this bronzer and I'm going to re-add that definition that I had to blend away a little bit to cover my acne. Okay, so two things. I watched a little farther into the video. He's really bringing that bronziness in a lot more, and I thought that I looked pretty bronzy. I'm going to add a little bit more just because I'm really trying to dive into this look. So I am going to add a little bit more to this forehead. And I'm going to add a little bit more to this upper cheek region. I think part of that is that I'm just so shy with the bronzer and he's like not. He's like all about it. So I'm just going to keep feathering a little bit more of this on. I'm feathering it up a little bit. I just need to like remember it's okay to go for it. It's just makeup. It washes off. I'm going to be using the Natasha Denona blush, and I actually think I want to grab this really beautiful light peachy cream shade right here. It's a super, super vibrant blush, but I think when mixed with these colors, I think it'll mix in nicely. Let me just like swatch a little bit of it. Oh yeah, that's pretty. So I'm just going to take, there's just a little bit on here. You can probably barely see it on the monitor. And I'm going to just lightly pop it on the cheek. Oh, but it's so pretty. All right, so I do desperately have to set these under eyes because they're about ready to press charges. So I'm going to take my Maybelline Fit Me in 05 Fair. This is like my favorite powder. And I'm going to lightly press this under the eye. Actually, first I'm going to pat out my creases, then I'm going to press it under the eye. So I just went ahead and I used the loose powder and I set the under eye as well as my little Hulk crease right up there because girl, inhospitable. And now to set the rest of the face, I want to go in with this same powder because I love the way that it looks on the skin and I think it'll meld really well. But he used a pressed powder just to use like literally the lightest amount possible. So I'm going to take my powder puff here and I'm going to pick up a tiny, tiny amount of powder, and then I'm actually going to work this in. I believe this is something I saw Wayne Goss do and it works really, really nicely. I'm just going to take and work this into my powder puff so it all disappeared, and then you flick it, you poof it up, which brings all that powder back to the surface, but you're working with a very small amount and it's spread over top of a large surface. So you just take it like this, kind of fold it up taco style, and you press it into the skin. Okay, now from here, he does go in with highlight next, and I feel like I want to spray my face, like give it just one kind of melding effect into the skin. You guys know anytime before I go in with highlight, I love to go ahead and set the face. I feel like it helps give the highlight a better way to sink into the skin. Now, I know he didn't do it, but I feel like it would do a world of good. So I'm just gonna grab my Morphe Prep and Set. Now again, he probably wouldn't need to do this because her skin isn't A, as set as my skin is right now, and B, he's going for a totally different wearability and look than I am. I'm trying to take this, make it daily useful. For my skin personally, I know that this works really well. If you don't need to, then that's totally fine. You can just keep moving on, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm still Jenny from the block. Used to have a little, now I have a lot. And then I go where I came from. Okay, so next up it's highlight. And I'm going to be taking the Cheekleader Bronze Squad palette here. This is the shade Cookie. And I'll be taking this on the Wayne Goss 24S. He also did use a fan brush. It was his fan brush and a different highlight, but I'm just, you know, kind of making it work for me. So I'm just going to take and tap into this and glow myself to the heavens. And he kind of does a little bit of this and like glows and bronzes up the whole cheek. And that's really pretty. Okay. So I'm just kind of laying it down on the side and then picking up the top of the bristles here and using that to kind of fan the highlight down onto the cheek and create like a nice veiling of highlight. Okay, the next place he hit was her brow bone, which hasn't had brows put on it yet. So this is going to be interesting, but he didn't use a brush this big, I can tell you that right now. But he just took a flatter brush and he hit the brow bone. which I don't feel ready for this step at all, but that's okay. All right, so after all of this, he went in and he did her chest. He sprayed the Neutrogena spray on, made it nice and glowy. Again, we're not doing that, but wow, hello, look at this. It's time for bronzer, and I think for bronzer, I want to go in with one of my all-time favorites as of late, the Thrive Causemetics Ray Bronzer. I'll link my full face of Thrive Causemetics up there for you if you don't know who and or what this is, but I think I'm gonna take this and grab my normal Duo Fiber. Now, he used his brush, and it's a more blunted style, and he really packed the product in, but again, I want more of a slightly feathered look, and I want to use a product that I'm familiar with, just like you guys would be using products that you're familiar with at home. So I'm going to take this and just lightly tap it in here, and I am going to definitely get my skin nice and bronzy, but I just want to make sure that I'm doing it in a way that I'm more familiar with. So I'm just going to lightly kind of dive in here, and by lightly, apparently I mean make myself look like the glowing princess that I am. And I'm just going to bronze up the perimeters, and he basically takes this shade and like feathers it into the hairline and really works it in that way, which is how I'm doing it as well, or I'm trying to do it as well. Okay, so next up, it's a Naked Natural and or nude lip, which I have a nude lip pencil that I set out for today. I don't know where I put it. I thought it was right on top, but it's not. This is the Urban Decay Insanity Lip Liner. I've used this quite a few times on my channel. And he said he doesn't go in and like super overline because again, you already have that shadow. Okay, so this isn't the ideal shade, I don't think, for this look, but I think it'll work after I go in with gloss. So for gloss, he used his friend's lip gloss, and I'm going to be using the Morphe in Sunnies. It has a really nice kind of fun bronzy glow to it, and I think it'll bring the bronze back to this look. Now, one thing that I loved, again, that he did in this step is he kind of feathered it upwards on the lip. Like, he took it all the way to the edge, and I really liked that technique. And I think it works really nicely because that'll press the light or reflect the light all the way to the tippy tip of your lip, which is what you want. You want to get literally every millimeter, every centimeter of your lip. You want it to be glowy and bronzy because it makes them look more full and plump. Oh, praise Jesus, brows. Okay, where's my brow powder at? I know it's a powder. I'll take what I can get. All right, so for brows, I'm taking the Urban Decay Double Down Brow in Neutral Nana. It is a brow powder, which is what he used on her. I think he used like a Shape and Shade contour palette kind of thing, but this is what I'll be using. And this is the Morphe and Jeffree Starbrush, the JH7 that came in his kit. Dance the night away, na take it on the floor, na 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 na. God, do you know how confident you have to be in your makeup abilities to do your brows last? My gosh, way more confident than me, I can tell you that right now, Scott Barnes. Okay, if you talk high stakes brows, I have never had a more high stake brow situation, but I think I like them. Now, he used his shimmery brow gel. I'm going to take my Benefit Brow Gel in shade 5 here, and I'm going to spoolie it through the brows just to help set my brows in place a little bit. So first things first for eyes, I am just going to tap a little Porcelain Beige on the lid because I have like nothing on the lids, and I'm assuming that at some point he put something on his to make the eyeshadow stick, so I'm just going to lightly tap this on here. And then from there, I'm going to take the BH17 brush, and I'm going to dive into my Natasha Denona palette, and it looks like he takes two shades. One's a nice deep matte brown, and the other one is kind of a pretty shimmery shade. And I think for me, what I would really like is to take the shade Seed, run that through the crease, and then grab the shade Shine right here, pack that all over the lid. I think that that'll give a very similar effect to what he did. I know the tones aren't the same, but I think the concept will work the same, hopefully. So that's what we're gonna do, and I guess we'll just dive right in. And I'm taking the shade Seed, like I said, on the BH17 brush, but the shade Shine, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of my NYX Glitter Glue, pop that down, and then put that on with my finger. Okay guys, so this is where we're at right now. Now it's time for mascara. He used his new special mascara, and then he put on falsies. You guys know I typically don't wear falsies, and I'm not going to today either because I'm an average person, and I don't know if average people normally do that, but this one doesn't. Now first things first, I'm gonna of course give my little eyelashes here a good old curl from Tarte. And then we're taking the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, and we're just diving right on in, honey boo boo. Okay, so I went ahead, I added mascara. Now, number one, he said that he does a back combing technique with his mascara. Girl, I can barely apply it regular without jamming myself in the eye, so I just applied it the way I normally apply mascara. I like the way that it came together. I do feel like the eyes and the way that he kind of takes that darker shade. I only have those two shades on my eyes. I like the way that everything fades and looks very glammy but still natural. His whole snatchural technique I enjoy quite a bit. I also did take a little bit of black black eyeliner, only like a third of the way down on the lower lash line though, because I didn't want it to be super intense. Now after eyes, he did have one more step, and he took another powder, and I'm assuming it was kind of like a finishing powder-esque moment, and he ran it all over her face one last time to kind of continue to veil everything together. And I'm going to be grabbing my Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette. This is my favorite finishing powder of all time. And I'm just going to take and run it through all of these, and just like he did, I'm going to basically run it all over the skin one last time, just to give me a very nice pulled together look, and this will help press everything into the pores as well and blend it one last time, which is really nice. Okay, you guys, this is the finished look. What do you think? Personally, myself, I'm obsessed. I love the way that it came together. I think it looks nice and rich and full and sophisticated. It looks beautiful and bronzy, but still everyday and still very wearable. And if I had to say one thing about his technique, and if you're looking at it and you want to recreate it, the one piece of advice that I would give anybody wanting to do this is to take what you already know and love about makeup and fuse it with what he said and bring the two worlds together, because honest to God, I never would have thought in a million years to do my makeup like this, and it looks stunning. It looks so effortless and smooth. Like, I had no final setting sprays at all in this technique, and it's because when he did her makeup, it's so natural and so glowy that you probably don't need a setting spray as much. But because I am normal to oily and I have to wear this all day, I did have to powder my skin, which gave it much more of a matte finish than she has. So I will probably go in here, actually, why don't I just do it? I'm gonna grab the Catrice Dewy Glow Setting Spray. It is beautiful, but I just want to have like that nice glowy sheen as well. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of this. Okay, there we go. I think it's just gonna give me a nice, like, look, you can already see it's just a little bit better, a little bit more hydrated on the skin. That's my definite preferred aesthetic right now. Now, what I am gonna do at your guys' request is I'm going to wear this all day, and I'm gonna give you a final check-in at the end, let you know how the face makeup wore. Did it slough off? Did I have any issues? I don't really foresee any issues because I didn't do it exactly the way that he did it, but I am gonna check in nonetheless, let you guys know how all of this stayed, because I did use a new product, this bronzer, and I did a whole new technique. So I'm gonna go ahead, I will do my day, and I will check in with you guys here in a little bit. Okay, you guys, it is officially the end of the day, and I wanted to stop on here and give you guys my up close of how things wore and ended up looking. I think overall things actually went really, really well. I didn't have any issues with like breakage over the cheek area. That Chanel bronzer wore stunningly throughout the day. The glowy cheeks, everything like that was great. As far as the oil, because I am normal to oily, I was very, very oily today. Like nose, forehead, chin, even out onto my cheek right here, super, super oily. And I think overall with this technique, given how well everything wore, which by the way, that Chanel bronzer is life-changingly beautiful. To have that in time for summer, I'm like, guess who's gonna be a glowy princess this summer come hell or high water? Me. But I think what this whole thing boils down to for me is technique. Now, would I do this technique again? Absolutely, I would. I think the way everything went onto the skin, layered, it looked so beautiful, and it was a really nice way to use substantially less product and still get a very beautiful, covered, glowy face. So I think for me, again, this is going to be all about tailoring it to your specific skin and your concerns. For me personally, something I would definitely add, a primer, because I think I did need a little help with pore filling through here throughout the day, and my nose had a really difficult time really keeping the foundation on. So whether that is like a gripping primer or a pore filling primer, anything like that, just something to help keep my pores filled and the foundation really having something to grip to in this area, that would be like my biggest thing that I would want to add. Now, obviously, as I was doing the technique through the entire video, I was altering little things here and there just to work for me. And I think overall, for those of you asking, which was kind of the whole point of the video, is this a technique you can try in your day-to-day life and have it be successful? And I think it definitely is. Tailor it to what you have, use products you already know and love. And I think the Scott Barnes technique is absolutely stunning. Like, thank you so much for doing this on Tati and for letting us all learn so much about products and application. And obviously, nothing I do and nothing anyone does will ever take away the beauty that that man has with a brush. But let me just tell you, my skin looked so good. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think down below? Do you think it turned out good? Do you like the way everything looked? Do you prefer my makeup normally? What do you guys think? Leave all your thoughts down below. Let me know if this is something you would try out. Yes, no, thoughts, opinions. Also, don't forget you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. They're both linked down below. Guys, I'm trying to get verified on Instagram. Y'all know the drill. I do skincare Saturday/Sunday. It is well worth following me on Instagram. I make it worth your time and while, I promise. Basically, I put up 5 videos a week here on my main channel, but on the weekends, if you follow me on Instagram, I put up basically a 6th video where we talk about skincare. I pick a subject, a mask, we delve into it. It's a good time. So definitely follow me there if you are not already. And don't forget to subscribe here because like I said, 5 videos a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They go up bright and early between 6 and 7 a.m. my time here in Northern Michigan, which is really early. And it's just a good time to start your day, have a cup of coffee, hang out with me, get the kids ready, hang out with me. Like, see the trend here? We're always hanging out with Paige bright and early, and it's a good time. We talk about all things makeup, new, old, love it, apparently technique, and we just get the real tea. Is it good for the average consumer? Is it good? Is it not? We talk all the details. So that is it, you guys. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me in my old man sweater, and I will talk to you guys all later. Please don't forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Girl looks glowy and happy and ready to take on her day. Yes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. In my old man sweater. Sweater, sweater. In my old man sweater. Sweater, sweater. And I did, okay, but I did pick up a, but I did pick up some, but I did pick up, oh my God. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, and don't it feel good? I mean, it'd feel better if I didn't have to pee this bad. Like, I honestly, I think I might pee my pants. That would be a great video title. Scott Barnes made me pee my pants. Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got. I got them from an online shop. Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got. I'm still Paige from the block.